Hello guys and welcome to another packet tracer tutorial. So in this lab we're gonna overview some really important topics. This is one of the most, well, not the most difficult, but one of the most challenging topics. This is about NAT and all its variations from static, dynamic and PAT. We're gonna configure a couple of scenarios where we are gonna use all three of them. So let's get started. Let me just explain a little bit of this topology. So as you can see, I have here a central router. This is it's called PE AT&T04. This is just for provider edge. That's what PE stands for. Let me show you how this is configured. So enable the password and show run. So as you can see, I have the host name and my password, and this is where things are getting a little bit interesting. So from here, as you can see, I have a connection to CPE. That's the customer premise equipment from Minneapolis. That this is this router. CPE Lebanon and CPE2 Lebanon is this router, and the CPE03 New York. That is this router, and CPE04. This router is going to be a little bit different, and I will show you in a bit why. So as you can see, this is the CPE04, and at last we have the internet router that this cluster. So you can see all of them have public IP addresses. So there are /30 subnet IP addresses, and the protocol we are using in this specific router is RIP, and we are redistributing some static routes. In RIP we are advertising all of these three routes, but as RIP is stateful, as it is a stateful protocol, we can't specifically advertise the subnet, but it doesn't matter. So as always, this is a very important command, the auto summary. And as you can see, I have two static routes. One from the 100.11.1.0 that I'm guessing is it's for the static NAT. I'm advertising via the static route, the static NAT, and the 102.10.1.0 that is the dynamic NAT for this side. So that's all for the AT&T router. As you can see, there is no much complicated stuff going on here. So let's go with other routers. Let's start here with CPE Minneapolis 04. So this is using a static NAT. As you can see, well, all the lab is set right now. Team 0, okay, I think I missed the password. Okay, now I got it right. So I can ping every network here in this topology. Let me show you. I will ping this server, the 100.1.1.10. Maybe it will lose the first one, but eventually I will get. So I don't know why I'm getting this wrong. I may be. Let me just check it. Can I ping to 101.2.4. Well, sorry guys, I'm back. Just checking this router that I wasn't able to ping it. I have well, as you know, packet tracer isn't always as trustful as it will be expected to be. The only thing I do is to bounce the interface. As you can see here in the interface, gigabit interface, this interface, a giga/0/0. I give a no-shot command here, and I ping to the server that I wasn't able to ping it, the 100.1.1.10, and I succeed with the ping. And also I can ping every other side of the network. Let me show you the ping 101.2.1.1. As you can see, I can ping it. So as you can see, every router here in the topology has a convergence and has a connectivity between all of them. So I will show you now how I configure the static NAT here. So show run. Well, I set here a DHCP, and DHCP pool Minneapolis, the network that will advertise from the DHCP server, the default route that is this side of the router, And the DNS server, I'm using this IP from to advertise all the DNS server, so I can reach this web server specifically. You know, as if I have another web server, I will configure it right here, so I can publish that network or well that IP address specifically. So let's go. So here's the important thing about NAT. I'm setting the global interface that is the one with the public IP address with a NAT outside, IP NAT outside command, and the local inside interface that this is the gigabit 0/0/1 is this interface, and I'm setting the IP NAT inside command in this interface. So here's where things are getting cool with NAT. As I'm using Static NAT, I have to set specifically the command IP NAT inside source static, and I will only set for these two IP addresses for this computer and this computer. One of them has the 192.168.11.10, I'm guessing is this one, and this IP will NAT to the 102.11.1.1. So here's going on something very interesting. As you can see, I have not set in any interface the 102 network. As you can see, I only have the 101 and the 192. Let me show IP interface brief. And as you can see, there is no 102 address. So why I'm setting this? I'm creating a virtual IP address, so I can use the NAT. And in this router, let me show you. Well, I'm advertising via static route this specifically NAT, as you can see. So moving forward, the second PC will use the same command, IP NAT inside source static, and the local IP address and the global IP address that I'm using. No? Sometimes ISP give a very well. This has this IP address, the public IP address. When we have a contract with an ISP, they sell us this IP address, or they list this IP address for a company to use it, and to use only just one IP address. In some of the cases, it's very expensive. So probably most of the enterprises in a company won't use Static NAT. And as you can see, I also in this router have an static default route through the 101.2.4.2, that is this interface, sorry. And that's all for this router. So going on with the next router, I'm skipping this as it's the fourth router, and let me go to the second router, that is CPE02 Lebanon. So as you can see, in this I'm using dynamic NAT. So I'll show you how this is working. Enable the password, show run. So for this router, as always, hostname, password, I'm setting the DHCP excluded address range. And in this router, there is going on something very cool. I'm using here router on a stick. As you can see, I have two VLANs inside this network or this private network. I have a VLAN 1, VLAN 11, and VLAN 10. VLAN 10 is using the 192.168.10.0, and VLAN 11, as you can see, it's obviously using the 192.168.11.0. And as also, I have connectivity between all these routes. And this is where I'm setting the DHCP for the VLAN 10, IP DHCP, VLAN 10, and the network that I will advertise through the DHCP, the default route, or default router, and the DNS server that, as always, is this DNS server. Same for VLAN 11, just it will change the network that will be advertised, and that's all for the DHCP configurations. So going forward, we have an interface, Giga Ethernet 0/0/, that is connection to PE AT&T04. That is this interface. As you can see, I have a public IP address and the IP NAT outside command. So for the LAN, I'm using I'm not using this interface. I'm using a sub interface, and I will show you. This is the description to Lebanon LAN, but I have no IP address configured here. And I'm using an encapsulation.1q for the trunking between this router and the switch. and I'm setting the IP NAT inside for both sides of the sub interfaces. So as you can see, this is where the dynamic NAT comes into play. I'm setting a NAT pool, IP NAT pool VLAN 10. Well, this is not significant. I can set it another name. I was just trying to prove that I can use it for VLAN 10 and VLAN 11, but only just one pool will work for both of them. So I can change the number here, but it doesn't matter. Don't pay too much attention to this name. It could be 11, for example. But this is where the things are getting important. So I'm using the 102, that is this subnet, .1.10, and I'm setting a range up to the 102.10.1.12 netmask /24, and the command is ipnat inside source list 10. That is the access list that I'm using right here. This 10 is representing the access list number 10, and the pool on the name of the VLAN. In this case, it's VLAN 10, but as I was saying, it could be Lebanon or pool, any name that's locally significant. And as always, I'm using a default route to go out to the internet. And the access list that I'm using is to access list 10 permit, and the first VLAN and the second VLAN. And that's all for this router. And as you can see, let me show you, I can ping also to this web server. Can I ping to the 100.1.1.10? And of course I can. So also I'm using this. Let me show you if I think I set a mail right here. Let me look at. Okay. So I have set a mail, and I'm mailing to Melissa, that I'm guessing is, I think it's this computer. Let me, okay, configure mail. No, this is not Melissa. So this is Melissa, and I'm configuring this mail. So as you can see, I sent a mail from here up to this router. No, I'm sorry, not this router, this PC, this host. And this is the mail I'm receiving from this network, and this is traffic is going up to the up to the mail server, and then it's responding back to the destination host from that mail. So going on, this is the CP3, and this is an enable team04. Team04, that is the password. Let me go with the show run command. And in this router, I'm using PAT from the, and I only need to use one IP address. I don't need to use a range or a specific set or group of global IP addresses. I'm using the global IP address that is set on the global interface, that is the outside interface facing to the PE AT&T router. And I will show you here. So as you can see, I have the Giga Internet 0/0/0 that is facing to the AT&T router with the global IP address. And well, this is a public IP address. As you can see, it's in the IP NAT outside. And I have set also the command for the Gigabit Internet 0/0/1, that this is the connection to the LAN with the private IP address, as you can see, and setting also the IP NAT inside command. So for the PAT configuration, I'm using this set of commands. Well, let's start first with the access list. Access list 1 permit and the subnet of the private IP addresses that I'm using. This is the command ipnat inside source list interface. ipnat inside source list 1, that is this access list, and the interface that I'm overloading. Also, I'm using an IP route to go to the, so I can have the traffic outside for this interface have connectivity with all other routes, but the private LAN is using PAT to go out to the internet. So let me show you an interesting command. So show ipnat statistics, as you can see, and the outside interface is the Gigabit Internet 0/0/0, and the inside interface is the Gigabit Internet 0/0/1, and some counters here in this. sign. And the other interesting command to use is show IP NAT translations. And as you can see, that this using the TCP protocol, the inside global, that is this. I use a very good tip to remember how I can remember this interface. So I relate global to good. If it's global or good, it's good for the internet. But if it's local, it's local, and it won't go out through the internet. Well, it's just like good tip and how to remember this type of interfaces and don't get confused. The inside global, as you can see, is the IP address that I set it right here for this interface. So you can see it's the same one, and this is the port number that is going out. Remember that when we have an interface with a port number, that's called a socket, and the inside local or inside local. So that's the inside local address from from one of these PCs. I don't know which one has the 10.11, and the outside local, that is 100.1.1.11. I'm thinking it's the web server. As you can see, this NAT translation is going out for the mail that I was sending from Melissa. That is, I think it's this IP address. Configure. No, this is not Melissa. This is Melissa. As you can see, this is Melissa, and it's sending traffic up to this IP address. So that's all for the first 3 CPE routers. And as you can see here, for the router, I am not using a public IP, a private IP address. I'm using a public, and this router is using RIP to advertise that route. So let me show you. Enable password, show IP protocols, command, and I'm advertising the 101 and the 102. As you can see, and I think I'm missing one command. Let me show run. No, okay. As you can see, this is the router RIP. These 3 routers are using static routes, but these 3, the ones that are highlighted in green, are using RIP. As you can see, I'm advertising the 101. That is this segment, and the 102, that is this segment, and also don't forget the no to summary command. So as you can see, everything is working fine, and that's all for that router. And at last, the internet router. This is the router with these configurations. Enable password, show run, and well, the interface facing to the DMC and the militarized zone, that is from the servers. As you can see, this is a DMC, as no restrictions are being applied to this. Well, let me go back a little bit. No restrictions are going to the servers. It should be a complete DMC. I have to set some restrictions with access list, but it's out of the scope of this lab. And the gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0, that is facing to the AT&T router with the IP address. And I'm also advertising this public network and this public network. So that's all for this router. So let's go to the scenarios. Configure DHCP on CPE4 for the local LAN and set static for the DNS server. So you can see. Also, let me show you. I'm using. Okay, for where it is. Okay, so this is the DHCP for the local LAN. I'm using the network, the default route, and the DNS server. And as you can see in the PC where I'm using the DHCP, and I'm set an IP address out of the, I think it's right here, out of the excluded addresses. As you can see, I'm excluding from the 1 up to the 10. And in this side desktop, I'm using a static IP address as it's requested on the first task. Configure static NAT, that's also reviewed. Configure dynamic NAT, it's also reviewed. This is the dynamic NAT. And configure the PAT on CPE3. So you can see it's also working, and I have convergence in all the network. So just for a little test and more. Can I ping to the 100.1.1.10? As you can see, I can ping with any issue. So I hope this lab was good for you. So thank you for watching, guys.